Welcome to the webinar on how to make a winning award nomination. And first, thank you to Community Leadership, Loddon Murray, for being the host of this webinar. Hello to those of you who don't know me. I am Kerry Anderson, and over the years I have been fortunate to win a number of awards for my corporate report writing and professional achievements. But I'm most proud to have successfully nominated a number of individuals, businesses and community groups for awards. I'm also frequently a volunteer judge for business awards across regional Victoria, and that gives me a perspective from the other side of the fence. So let's get started. I'm going to outline a few tips that I've picked up along the way, including how to understand the process, which I think is important. So settle down with a cuppa and make any notes or questions to ask at the end. This letter you see on screen is actually addressed to my father, who was nominated by Badminton Victoria for the Order of Australia Medal. And we didn't know anything about this until just the night before the announcement, and he admitted that he considered long and hard about not accepting the award, which we were just stunned by that revelation because we knew how much work had gone into the nomination. He was embarrassed and he felt there were so many other more worthy people out there. But then he finally realised what great publicity it would be for the sport of badminton, which he loves, and also for people out in the region. And he did actually accept that award, thankfully, and it resulted in wonderful publicity for the sport. So that's what I want to start by saying. When you nominate for an award, it's not about you. This photograph is of my daughter Elise, and she was nominated for the 2010 Regional Achievement Award for Trade and Career. And the purpose of her nomination was to highlight the importance of young people being encouraged to go into business. So just remember, it's not all about you. So I just want to elaborate a little bit more on that. Why should you enter an award? Start by asking yourself, what can you achieve for your business, for your organisation, your community group, your industry, or your wider community? I spoke with Claire Fountain, who just a few weeks ago won the Bendigo Business Excellence Award. And what she told me was that she most enjoyed on the night was being able to acknowledge her team that assisted her in her business. And she agreed it was a great opportunity to reflect on her achievements and to think about where she was going. So the process of entering the awards was fantastic for her. A lot of businesses like to use it as a benchmarking process. For example, builders and house designs, you'll see, will be put up each year for awards. I actually use the annual reporting awards for benchmarking purposes, and it was very useful for improving the standard of the reports I was responsible for, because we got professional feedback and we got to see what other awards were doing, other annual reports were doing. So winning the award was a bonus because it was confirmation that we're up there with our industry peers at a national level. And when you're operating in a regional sense, that is very important. So what are the benefits? Free publicity, not just for you, but for your business, your community group, or the cause that you're promoting. And this is just through the nomination. Make the most of it. Put out those posters saying you're a finalist or a winner. If the local paper contacts you, talk to them. Success breeds success. There is an opportunity to give yourself an edge to attract new customers, a new job, or new members for your organisation. Claire Fountain said that winning the award was great for her credibility. It proved that she could walk the talk. She also mentioned an unexpected benefit for her was that people were ringing her up for referrals. She was able to promote other professionals in the region. My daughter Elise, with this beautiful photograph by the Weekly Times, had an added surprise in that she got invited to meet the Queen at Government House during her Australian visit the following year. When you win awards, you get put on some pretty impressive lists. So preparing means thinking ahead. Gather materials throughout the year. Don't wait until the last minute. Think about how you can best provide evidence to demonstrate the outcomes. It could be surveys, it could be reviews, statistics, financials, which you can use percentages, they don't have to be figures, testimonials, photographs. Keep an achievement file. Electronically, you can scan things and put them in there, or just a box, but put things aside and gather them throughout the year. Identify something in a community or industry context that can benefit from your nomination and align yourself with them. Make sure that you're seen and understand what they're trying to achieve. Badminton Victoria saw an opportunity to promote its sport out in the region by nominating my dad. I shamelessly used Elise to promote young people in business. So that community cause is very important. And if you do some research, you will know what awards best suit your circumstances and when they're coming up. You can see them advertisements in magazines and newspapers, in social media. I pick a lot of things up through that and share them through my channels. Or you can subscribe to an awards alert, and I'll have the link up at the end, getthegong.com.au. Think ahead. It might not be time for you to enter this year, but note it in your diary for next year. Be prepared. Before you even start a nomination, you need to pay attention to a few key details. When is the opening date? What is the closing date? Will you be available on the date of the awards dinner or luncheon or ceremony? Is it compulsory to attend? Of course you want to if you can. Are you eligible? Sometimes there are geographic boundaries to where you live or work. Sometimes there are age or other demographic things such as gender that are requirements for that particular category. It might be industry specific. And when you're writing and submitting the award, what are your limitations? There's no point writing a 3,000-word essay if you're restricted to 750 words, which is the case of the Regional Achievement and Community Awards, per question. Sometimes there's a certain amount of pages you're allowed. How many supporting documents are you allowed? Once again, the Regional Achievements Awards, they're allowing 10 documents and at 3 megabytes each, which is a very generous electronic size. Now, when it comes to online nominations, which are becoming much more popular, can you save as you go, or do you have to do it in one hit? And a quick tip for online nominations that I use is I prepare everything in a Word document. That way you can do your word count, edit everything, get other people to check it, and then when you actually submit the nomination, it's a simple cut and paste into the online document. But don't do it in the last 5 minutes because the internet tends to go very slow at crucial times, and there could be issues the other end if everyone's trying to do their nominations all at the same time. So you've done all your research and preparation. You have to make a decision. And when it comes to making a decision, you need to consider things like, do you have the required content to make it a good nomination, or is it best to wait another year? Some people decide they'll throw their hat in the ring and just see how it goes and build on it the following year. That's fine. Do you have the time to chase up the information, to draft your answers, to get them edited and checked? These are all things that you need to think about and know how prepared you are in that lead up. Sometimes you might need to let it go through to the keeper. Understand what the judges are seeking. The overall purpose of the Victorian Regional Achievement and Community Awards, which I'm using as an example today, are to encourage, acknowledge and reward the valuable contributions individuals, communities and businesses are making throughout regional and rural Victoria. So they've clarified who is eligible, individuals, communities and businesses, and that regional and rural Victoria is very important. Then look at the category that you are most suited to enter and understand what they are looking for. If you look at the Parks Victoria Environmental Sustainability Award, once again they're aiming at individuals, groups and organisations that show a proven passion and dedication towards improving the environment and human well-being in regional and rural areas. Study the words that they use, and in the detail of that category, I'm reading words like patterns of consumption, environmental behaviour, to inspire sustainable and responsible development. Can you reflect those phrases back in your answers, but only if appropriate? Judges can sniff out a spin doctor a mile away. Study previous winners because that can show what resonates with the judges and how they've worded their applications. It might give you a few tips. Judges are not always named or known, but you can get an idea for who they might be based on past awards and the sponsors. Think about what they value that you could highlight in your nomination. But once again, only if it's relevant. You just need to work with the content that you have and use it to your advantage. Prepare your nomination. You only have so many words to get across your story, so think about them carefully and don't bury the important information in clutter. Less is best. The first paragraph of each question is what will make the most impact with the judges. Will it capture their interest? Will they read on? Don't be too clinical. You need to add real examples and human stories to add colour and personality. And show the evidence of outcomes. Do a survey if you don't already have the data. Use percentages where you don't want to reveal dollars, but back up what you're saying with real evidence and measure it as much as you can. Think about your supporting documents. What are the most relevant to what you are trying to get across to the judges? Testimonials and letters of support from credible people who really mean what they say. And when it comes to the editing, a wordsmith is worth their weight in gold. Someone that is good with spelling and grammar and understands the flow of words. It's also good to get an outside perspective, someone that doesn't know as much about your business or your group as you do. Get them to read it. Does it make sense to them? You know, they might highlight that what you know automatically may not be obvious to the judges. And double check everything, please. Those last minute changes can be a disaster because things don't add up or a line has been missed. So always double, triple check. Now pay special attention to the 100-word summary, which it's 100-word in a lot of awards. Sometimes it might be 50 words. But this is what the judges read first to determine if they will read on. It's also used in the publicity for finalists and ultimately the winner. So this summary is set in concrete. You can't change it once you've won and think, well, I should have worded that differently. It's already on the printing presses. It's already on their website, ready to go live. So be very particular about the summary of your application. This example is Elisa's from the 2010 award, and when you read through it, in the first line we've got across her youth by saying her age of 19. This is a point of difference. We've publicised her business names when you read Fair Dinkum Dog Coats, and Midland Stock and Poultry Supplies. That's her marketing. She's got to get something in return for this nomination. Then we've highlighted her strengths, that she has used cross-promotion and superior product knowledge, which shows her worthiness. She's really good at what she does. And then we've highlighted her business outcomes. It's not stated. I think we had a word count issue here, but the evidence is backed up in the content. We talk about she's expanded her customer base Australia-wide, increased repeat business, and gained a reputation. We did have figures to back that up. And finally, the community context, which is inspiring. She's an inspiring role model to other young people. So we're bringing in that cause, all in that very brief 100-word summary. They're quite difficult to do, and you will spend a lot of time on this as opposed to the larger questions. Here's another example from last year's Regional Achievement and Community Awards, and it's the Community Group of the Year. And the words that jump out at me from this are ethos of inclusion, all abilities, which helps establish the culture of the organisation, One and All Inclusion Project. And then words like breaking down social barriers and overcoming discriminatory attitudes establishes what their aim is and what their outcomes have been. Peer buddies and debutante ball student partners are great examples of how they actually do it. And part-time project officer supported by many volunteers, bringing in that community involvement. So it's worth reading through some of these summaries to see how they can benefit your word summaries as well. So we're getting towards the end of our nomination. First, check that you receive a confirmation email. Sometimes with the online nominations, a little message box will pop up and say, congratulations, you have successfully made your nomination. But ring up if you're not sure. Read the guidelines to see what they say will happen, and obviously understand the process. Will you be interviewed as part of this award process? If so, and when? Practice. You will usually get sufficient notice. Occasionally there are blind visits to businesses, but you just have to hope that it's all backed up on the day. Use your nomination as a marketing tool. This article of Elise was in the local paper, was generated just by her nomination, and the Regional Achievers and Awards Committee submitted that information to the local paper. They came and saw her and added a bit more detail. Great opportunity. So even without being a finalist, without being a winner, she was already getting positive publicity. Involve your team right from the beginning and take them with you for the ride. Let them understand the process and contribute to it. And take them to the celebrations. Tickets are tax deductible, or they might be happy to pay their own way if you're a community group. Just share the positiveness of that, and share the achievements with them. On the night of the award, take the opportunity to extend your networks. Have some business cards with you, have your flyers for your group, and be prepared for the opportunity to speak on and off stage. Think about the key points you want to get across. Remember, it's not about you. But please enjoy yourself. Not everyone can be a winner, but you can learn from the experience. Treat your award nomination as an investment for improving yourself. Now, there's no silver bullet to winning an award. There's so many elements at play. You could be up against a whole heap of equally great people or organisations in that particular year. Maybe the judges think it's time for a bit of diversity in the type of group or type of business that they're going to award. You know, that's just bad luck, and it means you should put in again the following year. When I think about what would make the biggest difference to an award nomination? I think about things like evidence, back it up with evidence, and this little excerpt from a testimonial was written by a local councillor who had the credibility and really gave that community-wide cause perspective to Elisa's nomination. I also think about the flow of the words, how important that is to get your story across with clarity and without clutter. To bring across that human side and the benefits to your industry or community, your cause. And visuals. Good photographs, catch the eye, doing photographs, not just that mugshot against the wall. And of course, preparation. That goes without saying. So, that's just a bit of a recap of what we've been talking about. A common question I'm asked is there any advantage to paying a professional to do your submission for you? The short answer is no, unless you totally lack the skills or the time to do it justice. It all comes down to what the return will be. I remember doing a submission for a business a couple of years ago. They didn't have the time or the skills to do their nomination, but they valued the publicity and the prize. Now, they actually won a trip to the United States and did get huge amount of publicity for their award when they won, and they thought that was a pretty good return. It's your decision, weigh it up. But if you do get someone to do it on your behalf, remember that you still have to provide the draft content and sign off on the wording. I really do encourage you to do as much as you can because you need to understand it, you need to own it, and it will pay off. And it can be time-consuming, but do the best you can and bring in the help that you need at the appropriate places. Make it a team effort if you need to. Good luck in your award submissions. I hope this has provided a bit of clarity in how to approach your winning award nomination. Remember, the benefits are fantastic regardless of whether you are lucky enough to be named a finalist or the overall winner. Get to work and nominate others, nominate yourself, be loud, be proud, and know there are many benefits to many people as a result of it.